Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 158. I'm John Cooney here to talk to you about comics released the 28th of January 2015, beginning as usual with my first five, meaning these are the first 5 books I intend to read this week, and I'll give you a little more depth on them, starting with at number 1, Batman number 38. Endgame Part 4, The Joker is back, this time no more funny stuff, and in the backup story, 5 Arkham Asylum escapees share their encounters with the Joker. Series writer Scott Snyder spoke about the Joker, quote, "Joker brings the worst fears to life, that's what the Joker means to me, and as a writer that means there is no nightmarish place that you can be afraid of going. You have to make sure you're not being exploitative, but it doesn't mean you can't stop doing things like fear of a pandemic like the Joker virus. There are all kinds of stories like that in the news, but you can't not do it because if you do it in a way that expresses terror and expresses fear and you're careful and you're sensitive, it makes for great drama. It's a hard line to walk, I will say that openly. Comic books can be difficult, but at the end of the day, you have an internal compass as a writer and you know when you're doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable and you know when you're doing something that feels justified and the only thing you can do is follow that." Close quote. At number 2, we've got Spider-Man 2099, number 8, Spider-Verse tie-in. Spider-Man 2099 and Lady Spider must reunite with the rest of the Spiders in time for the final battle against the Inheritors. But who will survive the Spider-Verse? Will Miguel finally be able to return home? And by home, do we mean 2099 or 2014? Series writer Peter David explained Miguel's mission with Lady Spider. Quote, "They will be putting their background to fairly good use. For one thing, they'll be leading one of the Moreland family on a chase through 2099 and will also be doing some scientific investigations and dissection. Eventually, they'll wind up assembling a rather interesting piece of technology to be used in this final battle." Close quote. At number 3, we've got Uncanny X-Men number 30. In the fallout from Access, the Uncanny X-Men return to the Xavier School to lick their battle wounds, but for some, the events that transpired may have left a deeper wound than anyone realizes. Wounds heal, but sometimes the scars become too much to bear, and the ruby glasses come off. Series writer Brian Michael Bendis discussed the impact of the Access event on the Uncanny X-Men. Quote, "Well, I said online that there's not going to be any, but there will be fallout that affects Uncanny particularly. At the time I was asked, the ending wasn't locked and I didn't want to commit because at the time I didn't see anything that I could grab that was. I've done events and a lot of the fallout I wanted to do that. It's the best part. I didn't want to be grabby. This is Rick Remender's baby, but he wasn't directly using any of the characters I use, so I was like, alright, I have so much to do. But when he locked his ending, there was a couple of things that were offered to me if I wanted them. There was one thing in particular that I said, that sounds great, I'll do that in a second. The fallout will be visible." Close quote. At number 4, we've got Uncanny Avengers number 1, Counter-Evolutionary Part 1, From the Ashes of Axis, an all-new, all-different Avengers assemble. The tragedy at the end of Axis has left the Uncanny Avengers vulnerable, and someone is taking advantage of it. One of the Avengers' oldest foes returns with the terrible secret that will, all hyperbole aside, shatter the lives of 2 members of the squad. What is Counter-Earth? What terrible secrets does it house? Series writer Rick Remender expressed his excitement for this new story. Quote, "To me, the most fun aspect of this story is Counter-Earth. When Tom hit on that, it all fell together. It's one of the coolest and most exciting concepts in the Marvel Universe that has been underused for a long time. Having this group of Avengers journey to the new Counter-Earth and the reveal of what the new Counter-Earth is and the villain behind it all and what he's up to contextually connects to Wanda and Pietro. It's the thing that got me excited about the story. Having Daniel Acuna provide the visuals for such a strange and fantastic sci-fi story is the icing on the cake. The sheer quality of designs and the architecture and cities that we're developing has put him to task. It's the work of his career." Close quote. At number 5, we've got Sex Criminals number 10, in which John and Susie learn just how alone together we all are, and the stakes get raised crazy high in this, the second arc finale, by Matt Fraction and just a great big bunch of chud with Photoshop or something. Series writer Matt Fraction shared what's next for the book. Quote, "Well, we'd always kind of figured we'd get 3 issues out and have to pay entirely for the 4th, and we'd beg Image to let us do a collection. Then we'd have our funny, dirty little book, and that would be that. But as Sex Criminals continues to swell and grow as if engorged with blood, I wish I could think of an appropriate metaphor here, we realized we could actually call an audible on Operation 4 Issues and Done and start to live in the world some. So really, post this second arc, we're going to start growing this world a little bit more and a little bit more, finding new people for John and Susie to encounter as they continue to navigate the waters of being John and Susie." Close quote. Series artist Chip Zdarsky added, quote, "And Matt and I will continue to navigate the waters of being Matt and Chip." Close quote. Rounding out the top 10 at number 6, we've got Batman Eternal number 43. Don't miss this special issue that loops our story all the way back to where it started in Batman 28, but with a twist you won't see coming. At number 7, we've got New Avengers number 29. In 4 months, time runs out. At number 8, we've got Multiversity Guidebook number 1. The guidebook to the greatest adventure in DC's history is here, with a detailed concordance featuring each of the 52 worlds in the multiverse, a complete history of the DC Comics universe-shattering crisis events, a map of all known existence, and an action-packed dual adventure starring Command-Eye of Earth 51, alongside the post-apocalyptic Atomic Knight Batman of Earth 17 and Chibi Batman of Earth 42. This 80-page mountain of multiversity madness cannot be missed. The Multiversity Guidebook contains everything you ever wanted to know about DC's parallel worlds and their super-heroic inhabitants. Meet the Agents of Wonder, the Light Brigade, the Super Americans, and Love Syndicate. Meet the Accelerated Man, Aqua Flash, Biomac, and more. Overflowing with today's top artists and completely written by Grant Morrison himself, readers of the DC Universe can't afford to pass up this oversized 6th chapter of Multiversity. At number 9, we've got Thor number 4. The Odin son is back, and he clearly doesn't like that someone else is holding his hammer. You know what that means, right? Thor versus Thor. And at number 10, we've got Gotham by Midnight number 3. There's a dark secret in Gotham General Hospital, a supernatural menace that could infect the whole city. But Detective Lisa Drake in the Midnight Shift has a dark secret of her own, and when this new threat brings it out, the only thing Jim Corrigan can do is get out of the way. For the best of the rest from DC Comics, we've got Arkham Manor number 4. As if Batman didn't have enough trouble containing the Spider in Arkham Manor, now he has to contend with the newest inmate to arrive, Mr. Freeze. Next we have Bodies number 7 of 8. Coppers Undercover, Coppers Under Lovers, Coppers on Drugs and Genocide Uncovered, the penultimate tick of the talk before the courtroom dock, the future shock, the hangman's drop, and the doomsday clock. We've also got Catwoman number 38. It had to happen. Batman confronts Selina over her ascension to the top of Gotham City's criminal underworld, and the gloves come off. Next we have Deathstroke number 4. Slade's journey into his past takes an unexpected turn, leading him to Gotham City and Harley Quinn. We've also got Effigy number 1. After a sex tape scandal, former Hollywood child star turned Z-lister Chandra Jackson returns to her hometown of Effigy Mound, Illinois, to find a seemingly impossible crime, a fresh corpse in an ancient Indian burial site. Even weirder, the murder resembles a scene from an episode of her old TV show, Star Cop, a live-action children's show about a kid detective. As Chandra starts to investigate, she stumbles upon a bizarre cult that worships celebrities its eternal effigies. And these cult members aren't just worshipping, they're also ritually sacrificing anyone who defies their veneration of the beautiful and famous. Chandra's probe takes her on a terrifying tour of burial mounds across the world, from Stonehenge to the Nazca lines of Peru. But what is the link between the cult, Chandra's hometown, and her own bloodline? Will Chandra become the hero detective she played as a child, or is she in fact the cult's unwitting messiah? Written by rising star Tim Seeley and illustrated by Marley Zarcone, Effigy is a twisted murder mystery and conspiracy tale that examines celebrity, godhood, and the price of fame. Next we have Gotham Academy number 4. The hunt for the ghost of Gotham Academy begins. And we've got Secret Origins number 9. Swamp Thing is in the spotlight in this new set of origin tales in a story written by Charles Soule with art by Javi Pina. Also in this issue, The Origins of Power Girl by Paul Levitz and Alison Borges, and Green Lantern John Stewart by Van Jensen and Pat Broderick. From Marvel Comics, we've got Amazing X-Men number 16, The Once and Future Juggernaut, part 2 of 4. Attempting to create a new juggernaut, the gem of Sidorak is calling out, and none hears the call more than those who have previously housed the power of Sidorak, Cain Marko and Colossus. But they aren't the only ones out to find the gem. Can the X-Men uncover its location before it's too late? And can Colossus resist the temptation of the power of Sidorak? Next we have Nova number 26, Cletus Cassidy comes to Carefree, Carnage ensues. We've also got Spider-Man and the X-Men number 2, Bad Teacher. Spidey's already gotten his ex-students captured by Sauron and Stegron. Can they stop the Savage Land from colonizing Staten Island? Traitor. Has Shark Girl really betrayed her classmates for these cold-blooded creeps? Romance. Have you ever seen a Pterodon Stegosaurus shark love triangle? You will if you buy this issue. And we've got Wolverines number 4. Everyone's blood is on the line in a desperate battle to defend Phantom Meal from the nightmarish monster, and even if the Wolverines can save her, they're going to have to figure out a way to keep her around. The linchpin of the plan has a mind of her own, and that's a real problem. From Boom Studios, we've got Abigail and the Snowman, number 2 of 4. It didn't take long for Abigail to warm up to the idea of having a Yeti as a best friend, but no matter how much fun the two friends have together, they can't avoid the mysterious men in town up to no good in search of the abominable snowman. From Image Comics, we've got Alex plus Ada, number 12, Grave Danger. We've also got Bitch Planet number 2. Now framed for murder inside the prison, Cam is offered leniency if she'll train her crew for a death sport bout against a visiting team of male prisoners. From 2014 Best Writer Eisner nominee Kelly Sue DeConnick and Valentine DeLandro with colorist Chris Peter. And we've got They're Not Like Us number 2. It serves you right to suffer. From Valiant Entertainment, we've got Unity number 14, A World on Fire, Unity versus the United. A dark secret at the heart of the Unity team has led the world to the brink of global war. Only Unity and their international counterparts, the United, can broker a peace, but that might not work, seeing how they're trying to kill each other. All hope lies with Unity's newest team member, who may not be able to shoulder the weight of the world. And we've got Exo Manowar number 32, Small Package, Heavy Hitters. Enter, Armoring smashes into a giant confrontation that will rock Exo Manowar to his very core. The bleeding edge commando unit codenamed Armorines has finally undermined the Exo Manowar armor and the man inside it, Eric of Dacia, one of the most feared men alive. But who are these hardened men and women, and just who orchestrated their lethal combination of technology and cunning? The new generation of Armorines are more than just mercenaries, and the figure pulling their strings is about to activate a failsafe that will leave the world reeling. Out in trades this week, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy, All New X-Men, The Trial of Jean Grey trade paperback. Space and Time Collide. The arrival of the original X-Men in the present sent shockwaves through the Marvel Universe, but we've only seen the effects on Earth until now. When an alien race discovers that Jean Grey, once and perhaps future host of the destructive Phoenix Force, is back on Earth, they decide to hold her accountable for the genocide committed by Dark Phoenix. Now it's up to the spacefaring Guardians of the Galaxy to help the all-new X-Men save Jean from twisted intergalactic justice. A surprise ally from one character's past arrives to help, but will that be enough against the most powerful army in the universe? Don't miss the first encounter between two of Marvel's biggest franchises. Collects Guardians of the Galaxy 11 through 13 and All-New X-Men 22 through 24. Okay, so that's just a few of my favorite books out this week. There's still plenty of others available, and I broke out all the Marvel titles this week in their own video, as well as a separate video for all of DC, and even a video with the top independent publishers, and you can find them all on my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com. And we'll also have links up on the leagueofnerds.com, our Facebook page, so be sure to like us there too. And of course, you can follow everything I'm reading on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find links to everything in the About section at he'sgotissues.com. And a reminder that both He's Got Issues and the League of Nerds are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.